Okay. I underestimate this kid.
Go.
Go.
Okay, well, we're going to start by talking about our trip to Bound Brook. Our trip to Bound Brook included Carol and Roy and Eddie and Louise. But little Eddie was home with Grandpa. So Louise wasn't feeling so, with little Eddie, he was home with little Eddie. And Louise wasn't feeling comfortable leaving him, with the baby. So she decides to pick up the telephone in a payphone, because we didn't have cell phones at the time, and call home to find out my father saying, I can't control him, you need to get home right now, I don't know what's wrong with him, he's crying. So at that point, we decided, well, maybe we should all go home. But the fellas decided.
You're pregnant.
Oh yes, I was pregnant with Christopher maybe 8 months into the pregnancy.
Oh my God.
So the fellas decide, Roy and Eddie, no, they're going to go home and they're going to leave Carol and I at this butcher shop where we're buying some kind of slab of a cow or something.
We're going to split it.
And we're going to split it amongst us. So they go home with the car and Carol and I are there. Now it's taking a long time for them to come back and the place is getting ready to close. So we decide we're not going to buy this piece of meat. We don't know what we're buying. So we figure, well, we're going to do them a favor, right, Carol?
Yeah.
We went up to the guy and we said, is there a bus that can take us back we needed to get back to Irvington, New Jersey. So the fella says, yeah, there's a bus, but you'll be stopping through the different towns, but it will take you back. So we decided, okay, that's what we're going to do. We're going to save them a trip from coming back. So we try calling, but they're not in Irvington yet. And my father doesn't really know what's going on. So we tell him, we're coming home, tell them don't go. Well, that message never got delivered. So now it's Carol, myself, and oh, I forgot, Raymond was with us. And I guess Raymond must have been, this is 1973, so how old was Raymond?
8.
8? Yeah, 8.
Where
So
did that happen?
Raymond's with us, so we're just going to get on this bus, okay? So the bus stops, and we get on, and the bus driver takes off before we could get seated. Well, I was in my own way, so there was a gentleman on the bus, and he was reading his book, and his head was cropped down, and I fell on him because the bus just jerked off, and I was on top of this poor man. I said, oh, I'm so sorry.
You sat on his head.
I sat on his head. Well, with that, Carol starts giggling. Her and Raymond are in the back of the bus, wet in their pants, okay? It takes us forever to get home because we stopped in every single town along the way. But we find out that the bus isn't going to take us to Irvington. It's going to take us to Newark Airport, okay? So we get to Newark Airport.
We got a cab?
And we called Eddie and Roy thinking that they would come get us. Well, they were angry because my father didn't give them the message. So they went all the way back to Bound Brook to get us, and we weren't there.
Oh my.
So they told us to find our own way home. So I said, well, Carrie,
We took a cab.
no, we took a bus to the Irvington bus terminal.
Oh, did we?
Yeah. We took the 107. We found that there was a bus that would bring us right to the Irvington bus terminal, and that was only a block from where I lived. So we did.
We both had problems.
And you're dragging Raymond
And
around.
Raymond fell asleep on the bus. I mean, that
Oh.
ride was so long, but anyway, yeah, then when we got to Newark Airport, we put him on another bus. We go, okay, so now, by this point, Carol had wet her pants, okay? And she had this beautiful coat on, I'll never forget, with the fur. You remember, Carol, the gray coat with the fur?
Yeah.
Long coat. So now we're walking to the house. We get inside, ringing the bell. They're not coming down. They're not going to let us in. So
They had the door locked. When we got there, they wouldn't answer us. How did we get?
my father finally came down, remember, and opened the door.
We were ringing the bell.
Oh my God, what brats they were.
They were really brats.
Oh, they were pissed at us.
So we
Why did we leave? That was their.
and we thought we were doing them a favor, saving them a trip back, because the place was closed. We couldn't buy the meat anymore.
So we're in no man's land, in a town, Bound Brook. We don't know where we are. So we said, get a bus, we'll take it up, and they wouldn't come back.
So it was Ernie's fault and they were mad at you.
Yeah.
They rode all the way back down. Oh,
And
my
by
God.
this time, my dad was not really feeling well because he had ended up passing away that November. But anyway, we got upstairs and he's telling Carol, come on now, sit down, take your coat off, sit down, we're gonna have some coffee or whatever, because Carol and Roy used to come over all the time.
Yeah.
And Carol couldn't sit because she was soaking wet.
I said, Films, I can't sit right now, okay? We gotta go home, right?
Because when we giggle, we pee.
Yeah. So that was our Bound story. So we never got the meat, needless to say.
No.
And we were in hot water, Carol and
Oh,
I.
yeah, were we ever?
The usual, the usual.
And poor little Raymond just had to come with us during this
Oh.
whole escapade.
Raymond got dragged around, even up to my house in Kearney, on a bus, up to Kearney on Hickory Street. Here they come.
We gotta go help Beanie. Remember when you had the baby?
Oh, yeah.
Little Jack?
And he helped with the...
And he was colic. When I had Jackie, he was colic. So
You know, when Jackie called me and said, Karen, can you come up here and help
Yeah.
Beanie?
I was just beside myself. Every night at 7:30, he started crying. The lady in the first floor, the owner, Marie Senna, would call me during the night and say, Anna, Linda has to go to school tomorrow. And I'd say, and that baby's crying. And I'd say, Marie, do you want to talk to him? He's right here. He's in my arms. He never stopped crying. It was like a good 6 months before the drops worked or whatever. Change the formula, do this. It was torture. But anyway, we survived.
Yeah.
46 years.
How about when I asked you if I could babysit for Raymond and take him to my house? Do you remember that story, Karen?
No, tell that.
When Eddie and I first got married, before we had any children, I called Carol and I said,
She
Karen,
wanted to kidnap him.
can I
Oh yeah, she loved Raymond.
pick Raymond up? I said, and spend the day with him and I'll bring him back tonight. Yeah, she said, sure. So I went down, I got him, came to the house. I fed him, that was always a good thing to do. And then I said, okay, Ray, come on, we're gonna go to the park. So we go to the park and Raymond's playing and whatever. And he starts to run and he fell. And I said, oh my God. I pick him up, he's all scratched up, all bleeding and stuff from the pavement on the ground. I said, Carol's gonna kill me. So I said, all right, Ray, come on, we'll go home. So we go home, I wipe him all down, I put some Band-Aids on him and everything. And he really didn't cry. I mean, he was good. But I was afraid to bring him home because I didn't know what Carol was gonna say.
Well, I remember having that little clicker thing in my hand. Didn't I fall with that little click? I had some kind of clicker thing in my hand.
Did you, Ray? Is
Yeah,
that what
yeah.
caused you to?
Because I still feel guilty over all of that.
Do you?
I feel like it's my fault that I fell
I
and
forgot.
she got in trouble, like she was going to get in trouble.
Yeah. How old were you though, Ray?
Oh, he was young.
Railroad Avenue was two-way. There was traffic on Railroad Avenue for some reason. They were going both ways.
Well, he was 3 when he was
And
in
it was-
the wedding, right?
Right.
So this had to be, he had to be 3.5 or 4 because it was right after we got married.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kids.
And I had no children,
Yeah.
So
That's funny.
that was why, but Carol, when I brought him, oh, don't worry about it, we said, it's okay.
That's all right. I do that to my son now all the time.
Do you?
Well, when he was younger, I used to bring him home all scratched up. He'd fall, busted his tooth, and yeah.
Oh my God.
Go, who's next? Go. You go.
You do one.
Which one?
I like the Pilar story or the mommy and daddy bought me a dog.
Oh, okay, that's a good one.
This is
but-
X-rated.
This is X-rated, so don't
Yeah.
show the kids. So we lived 401 John Street in East Newark, and it was railroad rooms. There was the living room with all the big flowered wallpaper that everybody had then, and then the second room was me and Flo in a 3/4 bed, sweating our beans off. The next bedroom was Mommy and Daddy. The next bedroom was Huey, and the next bedroom was bunk beds. Carol was already married, I'm sure. So Flo and I are sleeping in the middle of the
No,
night,
I wasn't married yet.
and then you were sleeping somewhere. Where'd you sleep?
Yeah, where did I sleep? You were in the crib.
No, I'm talking about when I was like 9.
Oh,
And the
okay.
dog.
Oh, I was
The
married.
dog they bought me.
Yeah.
So,
So,
me and Flo were in a hotbed room like we always were. Mommy used to have the flint gun and go to shoot the mosquitoes. There was no air conditioning. It was 105 degrees.
Oh.
Flo was sweating on me. I was sweating on her. And so I was awake and I said, "What's that?" to Flo. And she's like, "Go to sleep." And I said, "What's that? What's that? I think Mommy and Daddy got me a dog." And she said, "Bean, go to sleep." And I said, "No, I hear it." I said, "They bought me a dog." I said, I ran in the next room and I crawled under the bed to try and find the dog. I said, "You got me a dog." And when I was about 35, I remembered the vision of when I went looking for the dog.
Oh, my God. Oh,
Mommy was
Lord.
on top or whatever, and she just fell over, and they started laughing. And then at 35, I realized I wasn't getting a dog. Daddy was, or Mommy was.
Oh, that's terrible.
You never got a dog,
Oh, my
I
God.
never got a dog. I was mad. The only dog I did get when me and Eddie were little, from when Mommy died, 1962, Daddy farmed us out to Bobby's and Peggy's, which was a wonderful thing.
Farmed us out.
Because they took good care of us.
Yeah.
And Daddy wanted to fish. Somewhat like
They fixed your teeth.
little Eddie. Yeah, little Eddie. yeah. And both Eddies.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I went down there beefing, chunk as chunk could be, crooked teeth. I fell and hit my face on a car on a running after Rena Belitsky, and I had pointy teeth, like they just broke in the front. I had no front teeth, just half teeth. And Bobby took me to the dentist. They filed my teeth out. He took me to the doctors, did a whole workup, got me skinnied up. I went back to school. I was like a size 12, like from a, like a 16 or whatever. So every summer they sent us, I didn't have a dog, but Bobby had a dog. His name was Tuffy Dog. And Tuffy Dog was an outside dog, but he came in at night, he came in the house. And every morning Bobby would pick up the dog and throw it on Flo on the bed. Because Flo was there sometimes during the summer. We would take a week or two's vacation and we'd all be there together. And what Peggy put up with, I can't even believe she came back to him for what she put up with the first time. But anyway, so one time Bobby threw the
my
dog
God.
on the bed and a tick fell on Flo. He had ticks.
Oh.
And there was Rocky Mountain spotted fever ticks at the time, which now we know as, what is what you get from ticks now?
Lyme disease.
It's Lyme disease. They called it Rocky Spotted Mountain Fever that you got from a tick that had a red dot on it.
Wow.
So I was paranoid of the foxes across the street because he lived on a highway. There was foxes in the woods, and there was spotted fever ticks all around. Well, Flo got a tick on her. Thank God it was a black one. It didn't have a dot on it. She screamed, Bobby laughed, and I mean, Tuffy Dog was full of ticks. Every night when I went to sleep, nobody knew this. Bob and Peg's bed was in one room in the front. Me and Flo and Eddie, or me and Flo, and I don't know where Eddie slept. There must have been other rooms. It was the parsonage for the church. Every night, being in Virginia, it's so dark that you could do this and you can't see anything. It was pitch black. So I used to crawl, because I'd be afraid. The dog would walk on the porch and I'd think somebody was by my window. So I'd get on all fours, crawl into Bobby's bed and Peggy's room on the floor with a pillow, lay it down, sleep all night. When the sun came up, I'd grab my pillow, run back into bed. And Bobby one night heard me, and he's got no glasses on, and he's going like this. who's there? Who's there? And it was me laying on the floor.
That's
It was
nasty.
torture. I was tortured. Eddie was too. They used to think Eddie was the preacher. They'd ride by and say, "Hi, Reverend Donnelly," and Eddie would wave because he'd be out there mowing the, we had to mow the grass, we had to help with dishes, we had chores to do. But Peggy did a good job. I mean, thank God for Peggy, that's all I can say, because Daddy wasn't gonna take care of me.
Got it.
So
That's why